Hey guys, Adrian here, XIP Training Systems. Here I'm going to take you through our XIP Kids warm-up. This is a warm-up that we use in-house for our basically age 6 to 9 athletes in our kids camp. Now, this is a warm-up that can be done at home, in sport. It's very exploratory, okay? But what I want you all to understand is that you need to have fun with it. There is no restrictions and guidelines. If you see an opportunity to do something different and open up the environment, do it. Because sport is ever changing, and with these young athletes, it's so important that we do that in our training. First exercise in our warm-up is to take kids through kind of a slalom course of running. We make sure that they're running on the front of their foot, but we're also, as you're going to see, adding in obstacles and changing the environment, so they must respond and react to what's going on around them. Don't get too restricted in their movement. So, as you see here, I've got a little slalom course set up with my cones, some hurdles. We have them zig and zag. You got to jump. Maybe we have them spin the other way. Maybe we got to go backwards. Every once in a while, throw in a jump. Put your hand on your nose. Hold your hand on your belly. Have fun with it. The fact of the matter is that we're getting them moving. We're raising their heart rate. But we're moving in all of these different patterns that are unexpected, which are doing a very good job of waking up their central nervous system and keeping them guessing. So have fun with it. The next movement in the kids warm-up is a lateral shuffle. It's important that we get these kids, that we help them understand what the frontal plane is and how to create that force and drive more laterally. So here, shuffle, we're coaching the athletes to be on the front of the foot. Okay, again, we're more reactive and responsive. We don't want to see them on their heels, okay? And maybe we're switching directions. Maybe we're going for distance. Try to go as far as you can with each shuffle. But the baseline there, the foundation to that movement, is that we're moving laterally and pushing with the rear leg. As we always say, the motor is in the back of the boat. The motor here is our back leg. We're going to drive with the rear leg, and that's something that we cue them on for focus. Skipping, phenomenal movement for these young kids to start to learn coordination, how to be reactive and quick off the ground, and to really understand some spatial awareness and where their bodies are in space. Start simple, okay? Arms, don't worry about having perfect arm action, just that the arms are moving. Sometimes starting in place can be helpful. From there you could go to arms overhead. You could go open and close the arms on the chest. Get up high, skip for distance, have fun with it. Next movement you can have athletes do in place. They can walk forward. We call them Supermans. So here you're going to reach both arms way out front while you reach the leg back behind you. So here, we're standing on one leg. We're also asking, you're going to feel, or the athletes might feel hamstrings, okay, as I reach out and extend like that. But the biggest piece is that they're getting the arms out and extended. We're on one foot. We have to feel what's going on underneath. When the athletes get onto one foot, a great cue for that balance and stability to tell them to grab the floor with the foot. Big toe grabs, squeeze the foot together to help create a little stiffness and tension there and give them a little bit more stability. The next movement, again, happens in place, and this is a squat. So here, the way I like to get young kids into squat position is tell them to jump up in the air, and wherever they land is where their feet are going to be. Okay? So I'll say athletes jump. They jump up, land, and freeze right there. That's where your feet are going to stay. From here, they're going to reach their arms out front as they drop down and stand back up quickly. So think about this. This is foundation to jumping, right? We have to get this good, strong position to be able to explode from. So again, kids jump up, land. Now let's push the hands out front and back up. Out front and back up. All right, guys. Next movement, we're going to take that same squat. We're going to add a little bit more mobility to the hips. Challenge these kids just a little bit. Reach down. I'm going to grab underneath my toes, okay? So their butt's up in the air. They're going to pull themselves down to the bottom position, and then they're going to reach their butt back up, stand up, and put their hands overhead. Hands go down under the toes with the butt up in the air, pull themselves down, butt goes up, stand back up. All right, next movement here, we're going to take them into a lunge pattern. Now this, for many kids at this age, is going to be tough. Have fun with it. Don't get too serious. Hands go on their hips. We're going to start moving forward. They're going to lunge down. Sometimes we'll have them pause at the bottom, make sure they're in a good position, and then push back up. Again, we go down, push back up. So sometimes it's helpful to freeze in that bottom position because you're going to have kids that are here, that are way too long, just to help them get into a good position at the bottom. But ultimately, what we're looking for is to see this transition and alternating of legs. Push, push. Good cue is to keep your nose over your toes when you go down into the front. If they're back here, they're going to have a hard time standing back up. We're going to start to ramp it up now a little bit. This next movement, standing arms. We'll have the athletes stand with their feet parallel. Sometimes we split them. We have fun with that. But the focus is on what our arms are doing in relation to the rest of our body. A lot of times kids will be here, or big long arms, or lots of rotation. So we kind of break it down, put them in a position where they can be successful, and try to get the hand going up in front of the face and back behind the butt to try to minimize some of this T-Rex or chopping sushi so that we can get these kids in good sprint mechanics. From there, pick up the speed as they start to improve. Go to numbers. 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. Have fun with it there. Let them respond to your cue and call. But again, have fun with that. Change position, go up and down, play around with it. Okay, so as we get close to the end of the warm-up, we start to really pick up the speed and get into more sprinting type movements. Shuffle to sprint. Athletes will start sideways to where they're going to run, shuffling like we learned earlier in the warm-up, and then immediately going into a sprint, typically on a command, such as a clap or a verbal. They shuffle, sprint, turn, and run. Or they could be shuffling with a partner, okay, and one of the athletes has to decide to sprint, and the other one mirrors that. Could be a clap. Sometimes we'll do foot fire to turn and run. Again, have fun with it, be creative. Fast feet or foot fire to sprint. So here, athletes will get those feet moving just an inch or so off the ground with quick arms, and then we ask them to sprint forward out of that. So I'm here, fast feet, go! Take off and sprint. Now what that does, one, it's fun. Kids like to move quickly like that and get all fired up. But two, it's also warming up the structures in the foot, the Achilles, the calf. If we're up on the front of their foot, we're not being heavy, okay? Which normally when they know they're going to sprint, they'll get right into the front of the foot, knowing I've got to go that direction next. So you're almost tricking them into this good little forward lean and reactive position at the foot. It can be a lot of fun and also very effective at getting them to get that good explosive energy into a sprint. All right guys, so for the end of the kids warm-up, we finished with high-speed sprint type movements, but we're going to do so coming out of reactive starts, where the coach or an opponent, another athlete, is giving the cue or the stimulus to sprint. So here, first one, we have fun with this one where we're going to give different body parts. Okay, athlete is in athletic position. I'm going to yell out different body parts. Foot, knee, chest, foot, ear, chest, sprint. So then when they hear that sprint cue, they immediately accelerate out of it. So it's teaching them to pick apart the different sounds that they hear on a field of play. We could also do a lateral sprint where two athletes line up. Okay, let's step forward just a little bit. We're maybe close to foot. This lead athlete off, and he's reaching, trying to make contact, which is very hard to do. You can also do a head-to-head, where we're here. This athlete would jump, turn, pivot, take off. That athlete is reaching, trying to touch. You can do hot foot takeoffs, where both feet are going hot foot. One takes off, the other tries to go just as quick as they can. Have fun with it, okay? The possibilities are endless there. A ball drop, a sound. The key piece is that they're accelerating just as fast as they can when the cue happens. Have fun with it.